Good afternoon, Luke. First of all, let's get your final word on Oldham. Difficult game to assess, really, because performance-wise, it looks like they performed well. It's just a couple of moments, lack of concentration that meant that the points were shared in the end.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, uh, a mistake from a few players really for the first goal was very unfortunate, and then I have to say I feel like we've suffered away from home with decisions. In the last 15 minutes of a game is a pattern emerging for me is that we were winning at Woking away, and a penalty which was difficult to understand because two guys challenged for a ball and it hit Cairo Mitchell on the arm, but two guys were in the air challenging. It's very difficult to jump with your hands in your pockets. Southend, we had confirmation from the referee's assessor that second goal shouldn't have stood because there was a clear foul on Kedwin Scott. 2-1 up with 15 in the last 15 minutes of the game. We draw the game. We had a very nice letter from the assessor after the Boreham Wood away game. Last 15 minutes, corner, people grappling at a corner, like every single corner at every level of football. Penalty. We had a letter to say it's not a penalty. So for that, I'm disappointed because that pattern becomes a problem because it seems to be the same scenario too many times for it to be ignored for me. So that's one thing that is difficult. But what I would say is I thought that Oldham were very well prepared and they put in like a really, really tough, very tough performance against us. And barring a mistake really for the first goal that they scored, I think the guys played very well. It's very difficult to create the numbers of chances that we normally create, but I think we were there or thereabouts for a win.
Yeah, yeah. And you touched on the decisions at the end of games. I mean, it must be difficult for you as the head coach as well. It is nice in some ways, I suppose, to get a letter to say sorry, we got it wrong. Ultimately, it's after the matter of fact then that those decisions could cost you points in the long run.
Well, I mean, 4 points, two decisions that changed the game drastically. Woking, we had another goal cushion, so we conceded. It made the last 10 minutes of the game terrible, and really we were in control comfortably. But to know that we probably should have another 4 points on the board is difficult because the standard is so incredibly high that we need every single point that we deserve.
Yeah, yeah, and like you say, I mean, Wrexham they're only 2 points behind, and at the moment it seems to be a two, maybe three-horse race for the top of the National League. And I mentioned to Matthew Palmer earlier about the fact that there seems to be no room for error because as soon as there is an error for any of those teams, they get punished for it.
Yeah, exactly that. What I would say is that whilst we would love to be in a position where we're very comfortable and we're a long way clear, of course, but we have to also take pride in the fact that this is probably the toughest level of National League football ever, and we're leading the pack at this point, and so we need to take pride in that. And if we're going to achieve the things that we really are desperate to achieve as a group and as a club, we have to learn to live under that pressure and be able to perform under that pressure week in, week out. And so we need to take some positive out of the situation and say that it is fantastic preparation for being long term success.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, do you thrive on that pressure, both as the head coach and as the team in general? When like you say, the standard in the National League this season has gone up another level, and like you say, you're at the top of that. Does that make it a bit more exciting as the head coach and as the team?
Um, I think excitement's a difficult one to, but I get exactly what you mean. But I think excitement's not the emotion that I feel. The drive, and the ambition to stay there and to do everything that we can to come out on top of this tough competition. That's the emotion. Is like you have to stay focused all the time. There isn't any relax or downtime, and I would much prefer to be in that situation than mid-table and we don't have anything to worry about, or I prefer this. I've got no problem at all, but yeah, maybe not at the moment excitement, no, but yeah, determination, focus, yeah.
Yeah, maybe for the fans, it's more exciting, but I suppose for the people directly involved,
I hope so.
Like you say, focus and everything like that. Let's talk about Paulie Langstaff. He's back from his minor injury. Got a goal as well at Oldham. It feels like he's never been away.
It feels like what? Sorry, he's never been away.
Feels like he's never been away.
Yeah. I mean, look, he's he's had a fantastic first half of the season, and I think he knows exactly how the team plays. He's been out there a lot, and he can recognise the situation when Aaron is in that wide area. He's seen that action 1,000 times now. He knows exactly what's happening next, and if you can be half a second in your mind in front of your opponent, that's enough for Macaulay, because he gets his toe just right to the ball and steers it in. So we carry on with Macca in exactly the same form. He's brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, it must give you a boost as well, that sort of knowing that you've got players like Macaulay Langstaff and Aaron Mann and various others, that we've got those connections still, even at the halfway stage of the season, that it feels like that they're only going to get better as the season goes on.
I really hope so, because we try to make sure that we assess every game in the same way and try to find small margins to improve, to see if we can create more clear-cut chances and deny more chances at the other end. So we have seen a good steady trend of upwards curve in terms of performance, and we need to keep that at the forefront of what we do.
Yeah. We are in January. I know Charlie asked you about this after the Oldham game. Has there been any interest in Macaulay since New Year's Day? I'd imagine a lot of teams will be interested in him, but have you had any sort of direct interest? Yeah,
I mean, look, I'm sure that many teams are interested, but being interested in a player is one thing, but actually making a serious approach for a player is a completely different thing. We've had nothing at all like that. So we're just concentrating on the next game for Macca and getting him prepared for us. And he's not showing any signs of being, detached from the group or in a bad headspace or anything like that, which could be common for a player with a lot of attention. But Macca has been superb in his approach to the attention and the way he's dealt with the attention. So at the moment we just carry on as normal. We don't see anything else happening.
Yeah. I mean, has that surprised you a little bit? No, that there hasn't been any bids or anything for him. Yeah, I know it's still early in January, but were you expecting one or two maybe bids to come in at this early stage?
I didn't. I try not to anticipate things like that. Of course, I have an awareness that can happen, and it's not going to be a shock. But I try not to worry about something before it happens like that, because there's a lot of energy spent worrying about something, and that may not materialise at all. But we have things in our system to try to react quickly if anything was to happen. But no, nothing has happened at this stage that is of any significance at all.
Yeah, that's fair enough. How's preparation going for Aldershot on Saturday? Like you said, you're frustrated after the Oldham game, the manner of the draw in the end. But moving forward, how's preparation going for Saturday's fixture?
Yeah, I'm very happy with the way that the group have trained yesterday and today, and so we have our final preparations on Friday before the game. Of course, we need to react in a very positive way to what increasingly is feeling like a defeat when we draw a game, which is normal because of the competition and because of the expectation. We have to treat a draw almost like a defeat, and so now we need a very, very positive reaction from all of us.
Yeah, it says a lot about the standards that you and Notts County set when a 2-2 draw away from home feels like a defeat. It just shows how far this club has come, really, because on another day, perhaps another season, a 2-2 draw away from home might not be seen as a bad result, and actually, in comparison to the run that you've been on, it does feel like a really tough day.
Yeah, agreed, and we can't shy away from that. I don't want us to settle and be happy with a draw, because I think that we have the structure and the quality in the group. We have the motivation to go and keep winning. So that's what we have to do. We have to get back to winning very, very quickly. The competition is ferocious, and the standards that we've set for ourselves are very high, and so that's the objective now, is to get back to winning.
Well, fingers crossed for 3 points on Saturday. Thank you very much for your time, Luke.
Thank you. Thanks, Jay.
Hi, Luke. I just wanted to quickly start with the Sam Slocum, obviously, the incident that led to the goal. I saw after the game that you'd gone straight over to him. But I just wanted to know, what was that conversation between you and him, and how did he react after the game?
Well, I felt like there was more scenarios after that goal where he was called into action to come and mop up, and I thought that his reaction was brilliant to being involved in the goal. It wasn't something that was entirely down to Sam, but there was a mix-up, and he was involved in that. When you're a goalkeeper, that feeling is horrific, to be involved in a scenario like that. And then it's very, very common for all players to then have a crisis of confidence and to turn one small mistake into several small mistakes, and then to end up having a really bad game. I thought that he responded in a brilliant way. I think that Sam has helped us enormously to be able to control games. We scored more goals than any other team that have involved our goalkeeper. No other team has had their goalkeeper involvement anywhere near the level that we have, that has led to goals. I think that we are able to apply huge pressure to the opposition because the goalkeeper is very alive, and plenty of times comes to cover up the back line and mop up the loose ball or the ball played over the top. And of course we forget about the dozens of scenarios when he does his job well, and that's natural. We forget about that type of action very quickly when it's done well. We remember goals, we remember mistakes, big mistakes that led to goals, we remember the goals that we scored, but many of the routine things we forget. And Sam, I felt like he deserved the reassurance to say, okay, you were involved in a mistake, but you responded in a brilliant way and didn't turn that into a disaster. You have been incredible for us throughout the whole season so far, and I didn't want him to feel like he was going to have to take a bigger share of the blame, and also I didn't want him to feel like his performance was defined by one action.
Yeah, and then I'll just speaking to Matty previously. He said that Kedwin's the second goal. He said that was something off the training ground. I just wanted to know a little bit more about that. What was specifically about the move that was from the training ground, or is that something you can't say?
Speed and precision. We make very quick actions, but of course, if you go a tiny bit too early, the move is offside. If you make your movement inside the box too early, the ball is played behind you. If you move too slowly, of course, it's a disaster because the ball is cut out or it goes out of play. If you move too late inside the box, the ball flashes across in front of you and you miss it. So speed of movement and ball speed combined with precision, accuracy was the the closest I can come to.
And then I'll end on transfers as well. I think it's Sunday, so the 8th of Jan, obviously, Frank Vincent and Joel Taylor, their loans end at Dagenham and Aldershot, and then Kevin's loan with you ends, and you go back to West Brom. I just wanted to know, have you had any thoughts about what is going to happen with those 3 players at all?
Yeah, we have. Honestly, I need to catch up with Joel because we haven't had contact, which is something that I need to take the initiative to do. With many things to do, it's something that has slipped away from me, honestly speaking. And so I need to catch up with Joel. We know that Dagenham have been very impressed and very happy with his contribution, which we expected, of course. Frank will return to us. Of course, can't be involved in the game, but will return to us. And then Kevin, we have scheduled a conversation with the club as well, because of course West Brom will have a big say in what happens with Kevin. But we really like Kevin a lot. We think that he's got huge potential and that he's a really good guy that has committed entirely to the club and to the team. Really feels very much like he's our own player, which is a fantastic trait to have as a loanee. So yeah, we need to finalise 1 or 2 things with Joel and Kevin.